Hello beauties, and welcome back to the Master Manifestors channel. I am Olivia Grace, and here on this channel we talk about manifestation, we talk about expanding into love, expanding into our own God nature, connecting with God, all of these great things. So if you're interested, I would love to have you be a part of this channel. You can subscribe. If you like this video, then please like it and comment. That would really just help support me. And yeah, today we are getting into a hot topic, which is how to manifest marriage. And I also will be talking about a specific situation. One of my subscribers emailed me and asked me a question about her SP. So if you have a question that you want me to answer for you and go into detail and make a video for you, then you guys can email me. The email will be in the description. So I am going to read her question to you guys, but I want to start with some Neville quotes because Neville does talk about manifesting marriage and manifesting, soulmates. Well, he doesn't say soulmates, but he does talk about manifesting a happy marriage with someone. And ironically, it's not really the way that it is taught that I see. And I don't know, because I don't really look at a lot of these videos. But anyways, let's just get into it because I have two that I want to share with you guys. So I'm just going to read straight from those first to begin. It says, but in the meanwhile, she was wearing the ring. I hadn't put it there, but she allowed me to put it there and slept as though I had put it there. Let me pause really quick. He's talking about his wife. This one is actually the story of how his wife manifested him. If you guys are like into Neville, then you guys have maybe seen how he talks about manifesting his wife, his second wife actually. But this is like just to clip it because I'm not going to read the whole thing. So this is before they met. And he says, but in the meanwhile, she was wearing the ring. I hadn't put it there yet, but she allowed me to put it there and slept as though I had put it there. So I tell you, unmarried ladies, if you desire to be married, in parentheses, maybe you don't, but if you do, that's the way to do it. And he'll come out of the nowhere. You don't have to go and buy anyone or try to meet the right people. Usually when you try to meet the right one, he's always the wrong one. So don't go searching. Those who go searching for love only make manifest their own lovelessness, and the lovelessness never find love, or the loveless never find love. Only the loving find love, and they never have to seek for it. You draw them, they come to you. Okay, like let's just hop into this just for a second. Like I'm not gonna, because I want to read the other quote to you guys too, the other story. But I just want to highlight a few things, you guys. When he says, those who go searching for love only make manifest their own lovelessness, and the loveless never find love. That is a deep quote, you guys. And it's the reason why the SP community, a lot of people in the SP community are like kind of like spinning in circles or just spiraling. Like if you're I am, right, which is what I talk about a lot, is what Neville talks about a lot, is who you say that you are, and that is going to be expressed, you guys. That is going to be expressed. So if you identify as this person who is lonely, or this person who needs love, or this person who can never find love, or this person who, never, it's that searching, that seeking, that desperate, that needing, that lacking energy, you guys. And the loveless only make their own lovelessness, right? So if you identify as a person who is needing love or lacking love or not lovable, that is what's going to manifest. You can do all of the things, you guys, okay? You can do all of the things. You can join all the dating groups. You can talk to all the people. You can stalk all the people. You can stalk all the SPs, but until you change that feeling of the loveless will always make manifest their own lovelessness, okay? So don't go searching. Something else that he highlights here, which is what I've been talking about in the SP community as well, is not to go searching for the right one, because when you think you found the right one, he usually is the wrong one. Now, I won't say that that's always the case, right? But I just, from a lot of the stories that I hear from you guys, maybe this person isn't even the right one. And you're willing to give up all of your time, all of your hope, all of your dreams, all of your energy into this person who may not even be that, right? But as Neville said, only the loving find love, and they never have to seek for it. They never have to seek for it. You draw them, they come to you, okay? You don't have to seek for it. You don't have to go out looking for it. It will come to you. And this is why, you guys, when manifesting, and this is why I teach manifestation from the feeling of I, because you draw it, it's inevitable that way. Instead of going about trying to change the reflection in the mirror, change your face. You know, change your face and the reflection will show that change. Change your I am and it will be reflected. They will come to you. Okay. So I think that's enough on that one. I'm not even sure which lecture this is, or I would tell you guys. Yeah, I'm not sure. But the next one comes from The Law and the Promise, chapter 3. And this is the SP or manifesting marriage story that I always hear from Neville. He has another one too, but I can't think of it. But this one is really good, you guys. It's so good. So let me read it to you. This one's a little bit longer too. All right. Last August, while on a blind date, I met the man I wanted to marry. This happens sometimes, and it happened to me. He was everything I ever thought of as desirable in a husband. 2 days after this enchanted evening, it was necessary for me to change my place of residence because of my work. And that same week, the mutual friend who had introduced me to this man moved away from the city. I realized that the man I met had probably did not know of my new address, and frankly, I was not sure if he knew my name. After your last lecture, I spoke to you of this situation. Although I had plenty of other dates, I could not forget this one man. Your lecture was based on revising our day, and after speaking to you, I determined to revise my day every day before going to sleep that night. I felt I was in a different bed in my own home as a married woman and not as a single working girl sharing an apartment with 3 other girls. I twisted an imaginary wedding band on my imaginary left hand, saying over and over to myself, "This is wonderful. I really am Mrs. J.E." And I fell asleep in what was, a moment before, a waking dream. I repeated this imaginary scene for 1 month, night after night. The first week in October, he found me. On our second date, I knew that my dreams were rightly placed. Your teaching tells us to live in the end of our desire until that desire becomes fact. So although I did not know how he felt towards me, I continued night after night, living in the feeling of my dream realized. The results: in November, he proposed. In January, we announced our engagement. And the following May, we were married. The loveliest part of it all, however, is that I am happier than I ever dreamed possible. And I know in my heart he is too. Mrs. J.E. Okay, this story is so perfect, you guys, because number one, I feel like it really, really, really highlights that circumstances do not matter. First of all, y'all know that Neville is from like the 40s, 50s, 60s. This is when Neville was teaching, okay? So there was no Facebook, there was no apps, there was no even, I don't even think like, I know they have phones, but they didn't have like cell phones or anything like that, right? So she met this person on a blind date. She had no way of getting in contact with this person, but she assumed it anyway. And you guys, I just want to say right here, my guides told me, the way that you break through limits, the way that you break through limitation is by coming up to the limitation and assuming it anyway. Assume it anyway. What's the worst that can happen, right? You know, if you don't try, you never know what could happen. So many times we're thrown off by circumstance or something seems impossible or how could this ever happen? I mean, how could in the freaking 40s or 50s or whenever this was recorded, how could she find a man that she had met once that didn't even know her name, you guys, let alone her phone number, but she was determined to have him. And so she went into her imaginal scene Twisting the wedding ring, you guys. And this is what I recommend, y'all. If you guys watching this, you're wanting to be married, imagine the ring, you guys. Take the focus off of the man. Take the focus off of the man, because it brings up so much resistance, you guys, especially when, like the last quote that I used, when you're specific on the person. And I'm not saying that you can't be specific on the person. If you're specific with the person and you really know, that this is your person, then keep going with that. But if you are on the fence about the person, or you're not really sure if that's the person that you want or whatever, go to the end of just being married. Go to the end of seeing the ring on your finger, feeling the ring on your finger, feeling what it feels like to be happily married, okay? Emphasis on that. Emphasis on happily married, all right? So go to the end of that, you guys, and everything that needs to come up, everything that needs to be healed or worked through, whoever needs to come into your life, whatever they need to have, whatever, all of that stuff. Hi, Frativa, thank you so much. Whatever you need to have, that is going to come to you. Like I said, you guys, when you have that feeling of I, it expresses. So it's going to happen no matter, like it's going to happen automatically. Okay. So this woman persisted in this, and the guy found her. The guy found her, and she was proposed to, they're married, they're happy, all of these things. And another thing I really want to emphasize on before I get into my subscribers' message, okay, is imagination creating reality, you guys. Imagination creating reality, okay? Because here's the thing, you guys, everybody, pretty much, of course, everyone that I talk to and you know, with coaching and things, it's like, well, here's my circumstance. Here's the reason why, you know, it can't happen, or it hasn't happened, or it won't happen, or this or that or whatever, right? But you guys, imagination is creating reality. So if you can imagine it, it can very well happen, you guys. But first, you must have faith in your imagination. You must have faith and know that your imagination is creating, you guys. Because if you don't, you will look at what is created and say, well, these are the reasons why. But when you realize them for what they are, which are simply creations, they're just creations, and you are the creator. So you can recreate, you can choose again, okay? You can choose again. And I also want to say here is, you guys, it doesn't matter who you've been being. It doesn't matter how many failed relationships you've had. It doesn't matter how many times it hasn't worked out. It doesn't matter. None of that matters, you guys. What matters is, who are you going to identify as now? Okay, who are you going to identify as now? And that will be expressed if you persist in it, if you practice it, okay? So, yes, believe in your imagination, you guys, because this woman, again, this story is so perfect, and I'm glad that I finally made a video around it, because I had wanted to, but it kind of like left my mind until my subscriber sent me the message she sent me. But it just shows there was no way that you would just see that's impossible. How would he find, even now in the days of social media, facial recognition, phone numbers, all kinds of apps, it would still be pretty difficult to locate somebody that you had one date with that you completely move away, like, you know, but she assumed it anyway. She assumed it anyway, and it unfolded for her. Okay, so whatever your situation, you guys, and I really, again, I just want to emphasize before I get into my subscribers' question, I just want to emphasize for you guys that are wanting to be married, please go to the ring, you guys. Go to the ring, okay? Go to the feeling of being a happy wife, and let the man come. Let the man come. This is not saying that it may very well be the man that you want it to be, or that you think it is, right? But you can be sure of that. You can be sure that you will get what you want by manifesting the ring. Because if you have the ring on your finger, if you're knowing, you know, just like the woman, she said, I really am. She didn't just see it. She said, I really am Mrs. J.E. She accepted it as fact before it was fact, before she even talked to him. Okay? That's no contact, y'all. Before she even talked to him, she accepted him as fact. Mrs. J.E. And then she sent this letter to Neville, signed Mrs. J.E. Okay? So, yes. Yes, Prativa. Your partner found you because you were ready. That is absolutely right. And I see, you know, I mean, I don't know you like personally in life, but I see you and your partner's pictures on the internet, and I just feel a great loving energy from you guys. And just, I really like your energy specifically too, Prativa. You have a very radiant, confident, like love energy around you. I really love that. All right, you guys, let me get into my subscribers message. I'm live in my group, so I'm talking to people in my group, you guys. Like, if you're catching this on YouTube, like, who is she talking to? Okay. All right. Let me read this. So she says, in regards to my SP, we dated in April 2018 for 4 months and we're only in a relationship for 2 weeks. But it was the most magical relationship I've ever had. It ended because he was showing me a meme and I saw a flirty message pop up on his phone from another girl. And I didn't feel like he was being honest about the relationship. So I ended it. Before him, my last boyfriend had a secret wife and 2 kids I didn't know about. Because of this, I'm hyper aware of signs of cheating. My SP apologized and tried to reassure me, but I said to him what I'd always felt deep down, maybe this relationship is too good to be true. Now I know my damaged self-concept played a big part in why things ended. And before I ended, I heard my intuition say loudly, he's not going to like this. Even though it's been years, I still miss him. But I feel so bad for feeling this way because his behavior was inappropriate. So I should let him go, right? This is why I struggle to stay positive. I also feel like missing him shows that I don't have an abundance mindset when it comes to love. I should find someone who respects me more. I'm at a stage where I'm ready to get married soon and I want to see him again to see if he's a candidate. But I have decided what I want the outcome. I don't know my end story because I don't know if I can trust him. Regardless, for about 2 months, I've been daydreaming about him and I saw him walking past my house. So I know my manifestation is working. What would you recommend I do or read to keep the faith and remove my limiting beliefs so that I can at least manifest a conversation with him and see if it's worth exploring? All right. So this is great. This is great. So the first thing I want to touch on is the abundance mindset, because I feel like that pops up for you. What am I going to call you? Because you didn't really tell me I could use your name. I'm going to call you Flora, like a flower. But so Flora, you brought up the abundance mindset, like basically like a lacking mindset when it comes to men, because why are you hyper focused on this guy that it's been 4 years ago that you didn't, yes, you had a connection with, but you know, you guys didn't even date for that long. So I see why that's coming up for you. It also comes up for me when I hear that in the past you dated a man that was secretly married. Now, I think that also shows that there is alive within you the idea that there's not enough men to go around. Obviously, I'm sure because you said it was a secret, you didn't go seeking out a married man. I'm sure you did not do that. But the manifestation of you finding yourself in that situation of being with a married man, to me, it shows that lack. There's not enough to go around. There's not enough men out here. Even in the same thing, like you said, with, you know, the person that you're with. Or the person that you were with, your SP now. Like, you guys dated years ago. You guys weren't together that long, but it's like you're feeling this connection, like you need this person, and when it could totally be somebody else. Okay, so there is, you guys, literally 7 billion, maybe more people on the earth. Okay, there is enough, but the thing is that lacking mindset when it comes to men, that there's just not enough, or there's not enough to go around, or all the good ones are taken, or whatever. All of these things, you guys, are simply, they're just simply, it's just beliefs that we've had. It's just practice beliefs, you guys. We are literally, all of us, our self-concept is built up from the beliefs that we have practiced up to this point. That is it, you guys. And it feels concrete, right? Just like this world that we're in. It feels concrete. It feels so serious and so real and so what it is, but it is not. It is moldable and changeable. So I like that you were able to notice that in yourself, but I want you to start knowing that there is an abundance of men out here. There truly is an abundance of people that will match with you, that will vibe with you, that you can be in love with, but they're only going to make themselves known to you when you start to believe that for yourself. When you start to believe that there are men out here that are worth your time. A lot of women, and you guys, I resonate so hard with this because we've been hurt. It's like, well, there's just no good men left in the world. We'd rather accept that, right, than to get our hopes up just to be crushed again. Right? But guys, get your hopes up because, and again, this goes back to what I was saying, imagination creates reality. So if in your imagination, the story that you're telling yourself, the story that you're believing is that there's no good men left in the world, there's not enough to go around, well, then that has to outpicture, that has to show in your reality. And guess what? You will come across the man that's secretly married with 2 kids. You know what I mean? Because if there's not enough men around, the only person you could connect with is someone who's connected with someone else, right? But when you know that there's an abundance, they'll come from all kinds of different directions. I had worked with a client one time that was, struggling with men. And when she started working on her self-concept, all of a sudden she had 2 men that were just like literally like, oh, I want to be with you, I want to marry you, I want to all this stuff. One of them being somebody that she had wanted that for years from him, and he just all of a sudden became that because she changed her feeling of I, you guys. Change the feeling of I, and it will express, you guys. Same way, if you plant a carrot seed, it's going to grow carrots, okay? It doesn't matter if you plant it. Sometimes we're looking at like the green beans. I don't even know how green beans grow, but let's say they grow out the ground. I hope so. But we'll look at the plant and say, well, this is a green bean plant. This can't ever be, a carrot. Look at, this is what it is. This is what I see. That's what's been planted. That's what's been growing. That idea of not enough men, that idea of it's too good to be true. Ooh, y'all, let me tell you, this right here will mess up everything in your life. Like, and I'm telling you this from experience, you guys, because this is a belief that I'm working through myself, is that, oh, for TV, you say you've been eating green beans daily. I was thinking about having some tonight. But this is, oh my gosh, I completely lost my train of thought, but it'll come back to me. But yes, everything that you're experiencing and seeing, you guys, is just what you have been doing, okay? So you can decide, once you decide that, okay, I want to switch to carrots, you got to plant that seed. You got to water it. You got to tend to it, because the idea that there's not enough men in the world and all these things, it didn't happen overnight. It's been built and like ingrained in you. So now we need to ingrain the new story, right? Now we need to ingrain that there's an abundance. So, oh, too good to be true, right? That's what I was saying. That is a belief that I'm working through, because you guys, like for me, how this manifests is that like I have this feeling that if I get something really, really good, I'm going to have to pay a big price for it, right? And so how that manifests for me is pushing away good things, pushing away things that seem too good to be true, because I'm afraid of the other shoe dropping, or what's the consequence of this, or what's the price I'm going to have to pay, right? And just really releasing. And again, that also comes from a lack mindset. It comes from there's not enough to go around, kind of like sanction. There's only this much good that you can have in your life. There's only so much good you can have in your life before everything comes crashing down. But you guys, again, that is a belief. That is an assumption. That does not have to be the case. But what that will do is, like I said, it will cause you to hold back. It'll cause you to question things, and it'll cause you to basically block your blessings. Now with this guy, I don't know what this flirty message was or whatever, but you guys, I really want for you all to look less at what is popping up in your life. I mean, don't look less at it, but look at it, but look more at what does that reflect about me? what does that reflect about what I'm believing, right? Or what is alive in me, right? What's alive in me that created that? What's alive in me? Because what I'm seeing when I look at this is, like we said, the abundance, the too good to be true, that general like non-trusting of man, because you said you're hyper aware of signs of cheating, which I get, because we got to protect ourselves, right? We got to protect ourselves. But guess what? You're hyper aware. Your awareness is creating your reality. Your awareness of looking for these things and people is going to bring it out of them. Okay. I was listening to a near-death experience, and someone was talking about, they were talking with God, and God was talking about when you see someone as lower, or when you basically magnify the bad in someone, you're preventing them from being their true God self. And that ties into everyone as you pushed out. You're preventing them from being who God wants them to be, right? Because God wants us all to be prosperous and happy and good. But if all you can see, and I've done this in my own relationships, you guys, it's so crazy. And this will sound crazy, you guys, but hear me out. You may be with a man, and he may have all intentions of loving you and being faithful to you and being true to you and everything like that. But if you only see him as a cheater, if you only see him in that role, he has to express it, you guys. He has to express it, okay? Someone will hold him down and force it on him if it has to be expressed that way. All right, you guys? So we want to, again, go to changing the feeling of that I am worthy, I am deserving, I am enough, okay? I am enough for this man. I am enough for someone. I'm deserving and worthy to be a wife. I'm deserving and worthy to be married. And really, you guys, something that I've been exploring is, what does marriage bring up for you, right? What does marriage bring up for you? What emotions does marriage bring up for you? I'll be open with you guys. When I think of marriage, it brings up fear for me. You know, when I look around, there's not a lot of happy marriages. You know, one, there's not a lot of marriages, period. And then there's not a lot of happy marriages just in my immediate life, you know, outside of what I see on social media, right? And who knows what those are really like, because you just see what you see, you know. But so if you have a fear, if when you think of marriage, the first thing that comes up is fear, then you will be holding yourself back. You will be sabotaging yourself. You will honestly create, like, y'all, this is deep. You will create fuckboys into your life just to be safe. Just to be safe. So you don't fall too deep in love, because you know they're not shit anyway. So you don't get your hopes up too high, because you know it's not going to work anyways, right? You'll create yourself to be in relationships with people that you know is not going to give you what you want, because you'd rather know than be surprised. You'd rather know than be with somebody and really give it your all and really give it 100%. Y'all, when's the last time you really gave 100% in your relationship? You don't have to tell me. Just think about it in yourself. When's the last time you really let yourself free fall into the relationship, right? And when you do that, you guys, the shit is going to come up. It's going to hit the fucking fan, literally, you know? It's going to hit the fan, because it's going to come up for you to release it. It's going to come up to show you who you've been up to this point, who you've been being up to this point, who you've been identifying. Who do you say that you are? Because at the end of the day, if you feel unwanted, if you feel unworthy, if you feel you're not enough, whether you're single, whether you're married, whether you're in a relationship, it is going to come up. And it'll come up as the man cheating on you. It'll come up as a flirty text message coming from somebody. It'll come up as a suspicious situation in your life. It'll come up and rouse those feelings of unworthiness in you. And what we do, like in, you know, my subscribers thing is, look at, here it is, just like I knew, you know, I knew this was too good to be true. It's over. You know what I'm saying? And just cut it off right there. But it's like, but yeah, so we're looking for this perfect guy that's going to treat us right and make us feel amazing and do everything right. But it starts with us, you guys, because you're taking yourself, you're taking your self-concept, you're taking your assumptions, you're taking your beliefs, you're taking all this stuff with you to whatever man you go to next. So it will find a way to express. The only way to really change that is to change the feeling of I. So as for what I recommend for you to do is to assume being married. like Neville said, right? Assume the ring on your finger and assume the feeling of being happily married. When you do that, I'm telling you, automatically things are going to come up in your life. When you make the assumption, you guys, that I am this, right? I am this. It's automatically all those feelings that are like, well, how can, what, we're married now. Well, I'm scared. How do we know he's a good guy? Well, that's a big commitment. That's for like ever. I don't know if that's going to work. You know, all of those fears and doubts and all of the things that need to come up, the limiting beliefs, they will come up on their own and you can work through them. Assume the feeling of being a wife. I am happily married now. Like in the story that was in the beginning. She didn't say, oh, well, I hope one day when I find him, or if he ever finds me, then maybe one day we'll get together and maybe he'll phone me, send me a phone call. No, bruh. All the way to the end. All the way to the end. She saw the imaginary ring on her finger. She felt it. She said she was twisting it on her finger, feeling it, including sensory vividness. And she thought to herself, I really am Mrs. J.E. I really am a happy wife. I really am just coming home from my honeymoon. I can't believe I'm really married right now. And really feeling that, you guys. That is what I suggest you do, because all the work that needs to be done is going to come up for you on its own. You won't have to go seeking for it, right? Only the love find love. Only the loving find love, and they don't go seeking for it. It will come to you, like Neville said, right? So do that, persist in it, right? Because maybe it won't be. And for you, Flora, my subscriber, I really suggest that you let go of this guy. Not that it won't be him. It could be him. But I want you to believe that it is possible to find a magical connection again. It doesn't have to be this one person from years. I told you guys, I had a person in my life like that, where I had such a great connection with him. I thought, this is the only connection I'll ever have with someone like this. This is the only time this will ever happen. He's the one I have to be with. And it's not true, you guys. It's not true. Okay? Even as you evolve, your tastes evolve. As you continue to work on your self-concept, your expectations and your standards are going to evolve. And you're going to want more for yourself. And God will provide more for you when you start to open up to more. Okay, so she also asked me what my favorite Neville book was and what I recommend that, she reads. So just to clearly answer that, do your sat scene, Flora, of your ring. All of you guys watching this that are manifesting marriage, do your sat scene of the ring. Go to the end, you guys, right to the end. Not meeting him, not knowing him, not falling in love, not none of that. We are married and I'm happy and he's happy and it's good. Go there, and everything else I feel like will come from that. Really working on self-concept, releasing old beliefs and old assumptions as they come up. And yeah, really, congratulations in advance on your husband. So, but yes, my favorite Neville books, I don't have any favorite Neville books. I've honestly, when I'm learning about all the things I learned on Neville was really lectures on YouTube, because I spent a lot of time driving. So I would just listen. I've honestly listened to just so many lectures, books. I couldn't even tell you what from what. And I also have just learned from a lot of people's experiences, a lot of people's stories, what worked for them, what didn't work. I have really deep dived, and I do that because I'm a teacher. It helps me be able to teach you guys better. So I don't necessarily think that you guys have to do that, because it's really about what works for you. That's what's important, is what works for you. And you find that by doing trial and error and doing different things and seeing what creates results in your life. But of course, whatever it is that you do, you have to persist in it. So, that is what I have for you on the topic of how to manifest marriage. If you have questions that you want to ask me, please ask me. Please send them to the link in the description. I'll put it on this video too in my group, because I don't even put my links on here. So anyways, I intend that this helped you. I know that it will. I know that if you guys will do this, I want to hear success stories. I want to hear engagement stories. I want to hear marriage stories. I want you guys coming back to me, letting me know how this happened for you. And I'll keep you guys posted on any that I come across, but I love you guys so much. You the bomb, Pradiva. Thank you so much. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.